My story comes out of California today, and our Attorney General, Rob Bonta, announced that he's going to start a new program to eradicate marijuana in our state. And say he's full of shit is an understatement. This comes out of Law 360, a headline, California AG debuts partnership with cities to combat illicit pot. Now, we've been fighting with law enforcement here since 215 took place in 1996. And what they tried to do was attack us through the criminal law system, which is draconian but slow, and it's hard to win, costs a lot of money. Local jurisdictions went administratively against trap shops, if you will, and legal grows by adopting nuisance laws, and then you get drug into an administrative process where you're declared a nuisance, and there's fines that come along and yada yada. But it was done individually by cities and counties, and it wasn't well orchestrated, not well funded, and not very successful. And then we have the civil fines now. Once we pass our regulations, you can be dragged into civil court if you're unlicensed and you're selling weed or you're growing weed or whatever. And again, that's very slow, very costly, and you don't get out of the system what you want. Right now, the traps and move to a new building, move indoors, and you got to really do a lot of work to find them. It costs a lot of money. So what Rob Bonta just announced is that the city of Fresno, which is in a very conservative county, and they have chosen to open up and regulate inside the city, has brought in a program from our State Department of Justice to bring their resources and what they're calling the Cannabis Administrative Prosecution Program, which is going to make use of administrative law proceedings, which are a rocket docket. If you violate the nuisance laws by growing weed, having a trap shop, having a manufacturing shop, whatever, you're declared a public nuisance, and then you're going to get one warning. Stop your shit. And if you don't, they're going to come after you administratively. And now in administrative law, you don't really have a lot of defenses. It goes very quickly. They come after you, they give you notice, we're going to come fine you. You typically have about 30 days to appeal the fines. And then you go into administrative law process where you basically the scales are tipped for you to lose. This has never been well funded, so it hasn't worked well. And it looks like Bonta has at least figured out part of the game here. If you want to beat the trap, you got to be able to adjust and you got to be able to strike quickly and get results and remedies quickly. Unfortunately, this is just a continuation of whack-a-mole because the government has never been able to shut down the trap. And they fall into selective prosecution, and it's ripe for corruption and greed and all sorts of shit. So I don't think that it's going to work. And the problem we have here in California dates back to the 1870s when we revised our Constitution. We gave local control to cities and counties to be in charge of their own traditional police powers, which is public health, safety, and zoning, what you can do or can't do in certain zones. So locals have that control. And until we get some way to bridge around that, we are never going to have the markets opened up so that the trap is going to have competition. And until you have competition in the economic space, it's simply not going to work. And they also announced, it's called EPIC. And I like these words they use. I think it means it's going to do something worthwhile. It's fucking bullshit. It's called EPIC, Eradication and Prevention of Illicit Cannabis. This brings the state and federal government together. They're going after you primarily, as they say, for marketing to children, for violating our environmental laws, and for evading taxes. And trust me, the tax angle is where you're going to get your ass ripped up, because the tax people don't play here in California. If you don't pay your taxes, and if you're a trap shop, okay, you're making money without paying taxes. They can come after you for tax liens. And what they claim they're going to do is give you a warning. And then if you don't figure out the problems involved with the warning, whether it's growing weed illegally or not paying your taxes or whatever, the next step, they're going to come in, they're going to go after you, they're going to lien your properties, they're going to go after the property owners and get these properties to stop allowing this. and they think that's going to somehow work. Until they open the marketplace up and green light the green market everywhere and let them actually compete economically with the trap, the rest of this is just red meat to law enforcement, and it's a continuation of the wasted time of whack-a-mole. They can't win. Back at you guys. Tell me what you think.